Hey there, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, and today I'm doing a special request video for Stuart. And Stuart is a member of the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Inner Circle Coaching Club, and he asked me if I'd put together a video covering some exercises and stretches to improve hip mobility. And he was saying that during his workouts, especially the lower body workouts, he feels very tight in the hip area, and he wants to know some exercises and moves that he can do to help increase flexibility and mobility. So that's exactly what we're going to do now in this video. And the first exercise we're going to do is simply swinging the hips from side to side. And this will help to warm up and increase mobility in the hip joint itself. So as you're doing this, you'll just feel your hips stretch gently as you move them from side to side. And then after you do this for 10 or 20 times, you can get into doing some hip circles. We actually rotate your hips clockwise for about 10 or 20 rotations, and then do them in a counterclockwise for another 10 or 20 rotations. And as you do these hip circles, you may even feel your hips pop and crack a little bit, because again, you're working the hip joint, moving it around in the socket and limbering up all the muscles and connective tissue around your hips. So kind of visualize yourself doing a virtual hula hoop here as you're swinging your hips around. Try and keep your head stationary and simply move the hips in a rotational fashion. And again, it's a weird move, but it works really good for limbering up the hip joint. Now after that, we're going to do some leg swings. And this is a form of dynamic stretching where you're going to swing your leg forwards and backwards for about 10 to 20 repetitions. Now for this one, it's a good idea to support yourself either by placing your hand against the wall or holding on to the back of a chair, or if you're at the gym, holding on to a rack, something like that, in order to give yourself a bit of extra stability. And as you're doing these leg swings, start off gradual and just work within your own natural flexibility. I would rather you be conservative and just do a very gentle, gradual swings at first, and then as you get comfortable, as your flexibility improves, then you can work on swinging a little faster and a little bit more vigorous. Because the last thing you want to do with these exercises is to pull a muscle. You don't want to pull a hamstring or to pull a groin or something like that. So after the front to back leg swings, we're going to do some side to side leg swings, and this one really activates the outer portion of the hip and stretches out the groin as well. So it's a great move to do as part of your overall hip and leg warm-up. And now we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So just get down on the floor in a lunge position and really sink into this one, and you're going to feel your hip flexor stretching out as well as your hamstrings and your glutes. So this is a great movement that is going to help to increase flexibility in your hip joint, and it's also going to help to increase flexibility when it comes to a lot of your leg exercises in the gym. Things like squats, leg presses, lunges, these types of moves. Doing this hip flexor stretch, this lunging stretch, will help to increase your range of motion with those exercises. So hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds for each side. And again, really work on relaxing and sinking in deep into these stretches. Now after that, we're going to do a variation of the hurdler stretch. And this one is good for working the hip itself, really getting a good deep stretch into the hip joint, as well as stretching out the hamstrings. So again, with this one, same thing again, hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds for each side. And after you do stretching towards your toes, I want you to lean over your bent leg, and this one is really going to focus on stretching out the hip joint. It stretches out the outer portion of the gluteus muscle and again stretching the connective tissue around the hips. So as you're doing these stretches, of course, when you're brand new to them, you're probably going to feel really tight and it's probably going to feel uncomfortable, but just work within your own flexibility and do them consistently. That's the key with stretching, is just doing it over and over again, and each time you do it, you'll get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more mobile, and you'll be able to stretch a little deeper each time. So again, don't push yourself too much too soon. Just work on doing a comfortable gradual stretch and being consistent, day after day, and work into getting into a greater range of motion with these stretches. Now we're going to do some specific squat stretches. And what I want you to do is sink into a full squat and force your knees open with your elbows. And again, this is really going to help to open up the hip joint, and it's going to stretch out the glutes and stretch out the groin. And this is going to prepare you for the next exercise, which is wall squats. Now this is a very challenging squat variation, and it's going to force you to really activate the hips. So the idea of squatting in front of the wall is that the wall is going to keep you in a perfect upright posture. It's going to force your hips out wide, and as you sink down, you're really going to feel your hips activate as you're doing the squat. So you can see from this angle here, my knees are literally pressed against the wall there, so it's forcing the knees open. Your chest, torso is kept against the wall so that you're not going to be able to lean forward, and as you sink down, you're really going to activate your glutes and your hip joint, and this is going to help to improve mobility, and this can carry over to improving your squat, your deadlift, improving your vertical jump, your ability to sprint, and all these exercises that involve powerful hips. I mean, doing wall squats is a great way to help assist those movements. So there you go. I mean, that's a good extra workout that you can do to help improve your hip mobility and flexibility. Now, this is by no means a complete workout. I mean, there are literally dozens of exercises and stretches that you can do to work the legs and the hips. And if you want some more information, I've got a leg stretching video that you can check out there in the annotation, as well as a specific hip strengthening exercise that can help to improve your squat technique. So again, just click on the links in the annotations on your screen if you want to check those out. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe to the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date with all my latest workout videos. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to post those in the comment section below, and I'll chat with you down there. Take care. Over and out.